Hello friends and welcome into NBA Now. Once again, I am Tom Downey, that is Jimmy Crowther. Jimmy, we're going to take a look at some NBA rumors, some trade talks, and some news, but there is a signing we have to get to. Earth-shattering news. Antetokounmpo is heading to the LA Lakers. No, not that one.
Kostas. Yeah, I see what you did there, Tom. Yeah. So Kostas Antetokounmpo obviously was recently on a two-way contract with the Dallas Mavericks. He was the last pick in last year's draft, and he got waived, and the Lakers just picked him up straight off the waiver wire. They
claimed him.
Yeah, they didn't even give him a chance to hit free agency.
And they had high priority because they had that 4th overall pick from last year. Now, I'm sure there is nothing else going on here in terms of angling at Giannis here. What does Kostas bring to the Lakers, knowing he's going to be a two-way player? We've got his stats in the G League for everyone, too.
Yeah, look, I watched a lot of Kostas Antetokounmpo last season. And it's just, he's not NBA ready. I mean, he came out of Dayton as a freshman and really shouldn't have left. He should have stayed.
He wasn't that good at Dayton either.
He wasn't. And I've said this before on the show. I'll say it again. If his last name was Kostas Smith or Kostas Williams, I genuinely do believe he would not be in the NBA right now. He's not ready to play NBA basketball. But like you said, there's probably no other ulterior motive here for the Lakers, right?
Yeah, when we said that, how do we put this nicely? Our pants were on fire, we were lying. Now, well, yes, the Lakers claim Kostas. For me, and pretty much everyone else out there, there's a pretty clear ulterior motive, namely, the Lakers want Giannis, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, they sure do. They've already made another move this offseason that kind of signaled that in hiring Jason Kidd as an assistant to Frank Vogel, which, you know, I mean, I will say it's a better hire than just straight up, hey, this is for Giannis. He is a good NBA coach, but, I mean, that's two very clear signs that, look, when Giannis hits the open market in 2021, the Lakers are going to be lining up for him, as will everyone else.
Now, Giannis did say last July that, quote, I would never leave for LA. His goal is to win in Milwaukee. That's what Kyrie Irving said too, right? He wasn't going to leave Boston.
Yeah, if you'll have me back, I'm going to resign.
So, look, we know that Giannis is one of the premier players in the NBA. A ton of NBA teams. That's why Dallas drafted coaches in the first place. So what the Knicks are now angling for, they want to have max cap space to make a run at finding a way to sign Giannis in NBA free agency. I will make note, when Anthony Davis was doing his trade demand stuff and whatever, Giannis told him to come to the Bucks.
Yeah.
Now he could go join him in LA if he wanted to.
It's a possibility. We'll see. Giannis doesn't strike me as that, I want to play in the big market kind of guy. But
fair.
Hey, there's 30 teams in the NBA. There's only one MVP. He was the MVP. All 30 teams are going to be lining up to get this guy.
So question for you guys then, watching at home or at work or wherever you are, will Giannis leave the Bucks in 2021? Type 1 for yes, 2 for no. What's your vote, Jimmy?
I'd be typing 2 for no, I think.
Okay.
I think Milwaukee's going to put a good enough team around him to keep him there, and he just seems like a loyal, genuine guy, and that's where he belongs.
In a bubble, because if you're a fan of parity in the NBA and small markets, you want to say no. What did we just see this offseason?
I know.
Everybody leaves.
Every big market, every small market lost their star. Oklahoma City
Loyalty's
lost.
dead in the NBA.
OKC lost Paul George and Russell Westbrook. The New Orleans Pelicans lost Anthony Davis. Everybody went to a bigger market.
Unless the Bucks win an NBA title, and even if they still make the finals, I think he leaves.
Oh, wow.
I think he leaves.
So you're typing your 1 for yes.
I will make my bold prediction right now that yes, Giannis leaves in 2021.
Good thing these videos never, ever get deleted off of YouTube, so we'll have this to go back to.
Let's move then to some trade talks here. Chris Paul and the Miami Heat / Oklahoma City Thunder. The Heat, I think, have some level of interest here, but because of Chris Paul's contract being a huge issue here, in any deal that he would acquire CP3, they don't want a first-round pick back. They want multiple first-round picks back.
Which makes sense to me because Chris Paul is a huge contract and he doesn't play a lot of games anymore.
And he's old.
And so, is he an upgrade at point guard position for them?
Absolutely.
Sure. Is he a star next to Jimmy Butler? Maybe. But I think it's reasonable to demand a couple first-round picks for Chris Paul.
It's weird because in a bubble, Chris Paul, the player, you should be giving up the first round.
Absolutely.
Picks. But that's not how the NBA works. With age and with contracts, Chris Paul as a whole with his contract attached there is actually a negative asset. Now, issue for the Thunder there is, well, they dealt Russell Westbrook to the Rockets and they got back pick swaps that they may or may not use. Definitely not going to use 2021 one, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
And then a two first-round picks. So would they really just trade away Russ to get pick swaps? See, for them, that's the issue.
That is the issue. You got to think about it. They have, it's something crazy, like 16 picks over the next 8 years or 7 years or something ridiculous like that. But is Miami going to say yes if they offer them, the 2026 first-round pick and some other future one that's like a 7th grader right now playing basketball? I think they're going to want, closer to right now first-round picks, and I don't think the Thunder are going to be willing to give that up.
What makes it helpful for the Heat side of things is the Thunder actually have their first-round picks.
Yeah.
They have 2021 and 2023. If the Heat get those back, that gives them more leverage and even send those first-round picks out for somebody else potentially. So it's a little weird there for the Miami Heat. Meanwhile, they can make the salary cap math work. You throw in Goran Dragic, Dion Waiters, James Johnson, boom, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all you have to do for salary-wise. And look, I'm not 100% convinced. Now, healthy Chris Paul is better than a healthy Goran Dragic, but how healthy is Chris Paul? I know Goran Dragic had his injury issues, but he was an all-star 2 years ago. So do you just kind of swallow the pill and just say, hey, we'll just run with Dragic instead of taking on Chris Paul's contract? I'm not sure.
All right, so with Chris Paul, how many games will he play for the Thunder this year? Let us know in the comments section. Let's do it regular season because that makes the math way easier. Also, Thunder probably aren't going to make the playoffs anyway. So how many will he play with them?
I'll say 18.
18.
And then he gets shipped out.
Okay.
Or he sits until he gets shipped out.
I like to do over-unders for these, and I don't know. Like, you have the injury question, you have the trade question. Is the over-under as low as like 10?
Yeah.
Do you try and set an over-under at like December 18th? Like, make that your general over-under for a trade to be dealt maybe after that thing with like maybe the Knicks or something? I don't know.
I don't know either. That is going to be so interesting to follow.
All right, we appreciate those votes coming in here, folks, so keep them flowing in there in terms of how many games Chris Paul will play for the Thunder. Let's move then to Bradley Beal. This one, not a huge surprise here. The Wizards will offer the full max extension. That's 3 years, $111 million. They can offer him starting in late July, coming up real soon.
I mean, look, Bradley Beal is the only star left on the roster right now. I mean, you can say John Wall is a star, but he's probably not going to play for about a year and a half. So if you're the Washington Wizards, it's kind of like, hey, we got to do whatever we can to keep our fans engaged and to keep players that are relevant around in the organization. And that's Bradley Beal right now. So I think it definitely makes sense. Of course, he will be eligible for this on July 27th. That's Saturday, and they will pony up the dough and try to keep him around.
I don't know if Beal is going to accept that offer, though. He wants to see what the Wizards look like. Like we know Bradley Beal is a fantastic player. He also just missed out on the Supermax extension. So if next year he's able to earn All-NBA status, and if he puts up similar numbers last year, that's actually within the realm of possibility, it becomes a 5-year, $254 million deal. Or if he just waits another year, it becomes a 4-year, $155 million max. So Beal can wait and get more money, and if that's what happens, I think that's how the Wizards spin it of, Beal doesn't want out, he just wants more money next offseason.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, look, he has until, I believe it's October 21st to actually accept that extension offer. So he can sit around and see how he's playing and accept it or not for, well, I guess October 21st, he'll be right at the beginning of the season. So make sure he doesn't miss out on get an injury or anything crazy like that. But again, you look at this lineup, it's Bradley Beal, Rui Hachimura, and everybody else. I mean,
yeah, and I think even Wizards GM Tommy Shepard's kind of alluded to this. Like, look, we're aware we have to prove it to Bradley.
Yeah.
Like, this team is not a playoff contender.
No.
Unless Rui Hachimura has an incredible year and Isaiah Thomas becomes the IT of old, they're not going to push for a playoff spot. And I don't know if Beal wants to hang out there with a losing team. And that makes it become for the Wizards of, okay, we know we have this fantastic young asset, but do we need to trade him?
Yeah.
So what should the Wizards do, guys? Let us know in the comment section. Type T for trade him, K for keep. What are you doing if you're watching here?
I mean, if he turns down that extension, I'm trading him. I'm going to get as much out of him as I can because I'm not confident, and I don't think the Wizards are even that confident that they can bring in younger pieces around him or good, solid pieces around free agency because they won't have the money. It'll be all wrapped up. So I love Bradley Beal. I think he's an incredible talent. But I think it's best for the Wizards' future to trade him while they can.
All right, folks, let us know. T for trade, K for keep. I agree with you. I think trade makes the most sense there. I love Bradley Beal like you do, but you have to acquire assets. You can't have your single best asset leaving free agency in a year or two.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen there. All right, let's move to some free agency talk. The Spurs and the Knicks are big mad at each other, Jimmy. What on earth is going on here?
I'm still confused about it, Tom. I think you have a little bit more clarity on this situation than I do, but as far as I understand, obviously the Spurs agreed to sign Marcus Morris. Mm-hmm. And then Marcus Morris backed out and said, no, I'm going to sign a one-year deal with the Knicks. And so that pissed off the Spurs, of course. And the Spurs had already traded away Davis Bertans, who is an incredible three-point shooter. He stretched the floor for him. Mm-hmm. They restructured DeMar Carroll's deal, gave him less money so that they could make the money work for Marcus Morris. Mm-hmm. And then he backed out. Mm-hmm. And then, before all of this even happened, allegedly, the Spurs may have had some, quote, illegal contact with Kristaps Porzingis over in Europe while Porzingis was still a New York Knick. So now everybody's mad at everybody.
First off, I love the petty drama in the NBA.
It never stops.
Absolutely fantastic. So you're definitely right there on Marcus Morris, how he agreed to sign with the Spurs, skipped his physical, was upset he didn't get more money. The Knicks come in with a one-year, $15 million offer. Oh, by the way, agent Rich Paul and client Marcus Morris have split ways. I think Rich Paul was like, you need to sign with the Spurs. I know, actually, for a fact that's how he was, and then he didn't. So Rich Paul's like, I'm out. See ya. Yeah. I disavow what my client did here. So the Spurs are like, Knicks, what are you guys doing? How dare you try and swoop in and sign a player we already agreed to? Meanwhile, apparently the Knicks were mad at the Spurs, and this part's weird to me because the reports came out of New York,
of course,
came from The Athletic and one of the local New York publications. Apparently, the Knicks feel the Spurs made contact with Porzingis while he was still with the Knicks, which, okay, A, prove it.
Yeah.
Also, B, welcome to the NBA. There's tampering everywhere. Just deal with it. But the Knicks local reports, no one knows what actually happened. I'm like, well, what are you talking about then? This feels like the Knicks were like, yeah, they talked to him, but we don't know about what or anything else, so we'll just put it in there.
It's like James Dolan
weird.
Just banning random media for showing up to the Knicks. Or they just get mad at everyone for anything and everything, and there's just no real solid evidence for this whole deal. I think it's ridiculous.
All right, so as it relates to Marcus Morris, is he a snake for bailing on the Spurs? Let me see those snake emojis. I want to see him in the chat.
I mean, he is. Straight up, he is. So, but he gets a chance to prove himself this year and then enter free agency next year.
I will ask you this, as I see a couple of snake emojis flowing in here. If you were offered $5 million more, would you go back on your word?
No, because he got more money at the Spurs over a different amount of time. He just didn't.
Yeah, but he was going to opt out no matter what. $15 million or $10 million? Which one are you taking?
Well, 15.
Yeah, you're going to take the $15 million there. So maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Let me know what you guys think there. I see all those snake emojis, guys. I appreciate it. Giveaway for you guys from our friends over at MyBookie. Head over to chatsports.com/NBA now. Use that promo code ChatNBA. It gets you a 100% deposit bonus. So you put down $50 and they give you another $50. And once you sign up and deposit and place your first bet, email us at promo@chatsports.com. We'll get you guys hooked up with another NBA jersey. Jimmy, who do you have in mind in terms of a jersey that you want?
I think I'm going to get a Marcus Morris New York Knicks jersey.
Okay. You were supposed to say Kyle Korver. You botched the transition there, Jimmy, because Korver is going to the Bucks.
So I see what you did. You put some bucks down with MyBookie.
All these opportunities, and you went back to Marcus Morris.
I couldn't help myself.
Anyway, Korver to the Bucks. What does this mean?
1 year veterans minimum deal for Kyle Korver to Milwaukee. Look, Milwaukee was talking to J.R. Smith. Obviously, that's not going to happen because now they already got their backup shooting guard. And Kyle Korver's still an extremely serviceable player. I mean, that shot's never going to go away. I mean, he's still just a knockdown three-point shooter wherever he goes.
You know, Korver's going to be that old guy at, the gym in your neighborhood that's, 70 years old and just, the young kid shows up. I got the old guy. And he gets absolutely roasted.
Just gets torched.
Yeah, Korver drops 25 on him.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
But for the Bucks, meanwhile, they needed more shooting. This helps out their guards, I think, in a big way. I still don't know who their fifth starter is. Even in crunch time, I don't know if it's George Hill, Matthews, or Korver. But bringing all these in gives them flexibility here. All these guys, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, look, their backup shooting guard before this signing was Dante DiVincenzo. And as great as they think he can be, and I think he can be a good player as well, if you're competing for a championship, you don't want to take time to develop these kind of guys like DiVincenzo. So I think Korver was a great pickup. I mean, Korver, Wesley Matthews, and Robin Lopez, that's three veteran, low-risk signings for this offseason.
Kyle Korver's always like I'm going to go to a contender and make threes all game.
Yep.
And the Bucks certainly needed that one, folks.